Hello everyone, I'm Exodus from Hong Kong, and currently I'm the National Astronomy Education Coordinator Team, Hong Kong, and as the chair of Hong Kong, and I'm also supporting the NOC, the National Outreach Coordinator Team in Hong Kong, and recently I'm supporting in international education and coordination about natural science promotion, about the dark sky protections, and also to raise more people awareness on the interdisciplinary approaches about astronomy, collaborating with different people. And so today I would like to share some of my experience about astronomy education. How could we apply astronomy education in inclusive approaches to care of different people, and how to arouse our target audience interest about learning science, and how could we effectively get reach to people from different disciplines or with different special education needs. How could we motivate them to learn science and providing some scaffolding learning opportunities for them to explore the happiness of astronomy. So okay, so okay, so today my sharing will be related to the inclusive. Sorry, so okay, so today my sharing will be related to the inclusive learning about astronomy. How could we motivate it to provide incentive for some astronomy educations, and how could we approach the target audience to learn science, especially if our target audience might have some special education need? How could we provide them some platforms or opportunities? So actually, it's all about how could we build up a the zone of proximal development. So how could we able to allow our students or allow our target audience to leave their comfort zones? Traditionally, learning science or astrophysics are really complicated, as there are a lot of different sophisticated, complex calculation or data analysis. But how could we uh, help them, or how could we motivate them to have some interest, especially for uh, their self-learning abilities or learning science or related subjects? So it's really important to know the actual needs of the SEN students or SEN people. So actually, there are different special education needs. For example, ADHD, ASD, or some developmental needs that we could help them, or we could provide some different opportunities to interact with them. So, for example, the dark sky protection, we have some stargazing activities, and there are some astrophysics uh, learning opportunities for them to have some connections. So it's really important to know more about the learning process for people with growth mindsets, and it's really important uh, to know how could we learn something. So, for example, uh, the preliminary stage is actually about the working memory, or whether they can be really willing to have some self-regulations or some response and actions or some sustaining attention. So, for example, one of my projects is actually about the STEAM plus A and astronomy project. Is actually about the multi-sensory learning opportunity. For example, we consider some learner-centered approaches. For example, we motivate them to have some visual learning opportunities. For example, I will further elaborate in my slides in the next slides. So So there are actually some different there are quite a lot of different opportunities that we could try out to interact with these people. So for example, for the first one is visual learning. So it's really important for astronomy experience, for example, stargazing or some sidewalk astronomy or light sky observation or some astronomical observation about some rare phenomenon or some unique discovery about asteroid or some different um, data analysis about the latest the deep sky objects. So there are different things about astronomy that we usually traditionally we always consider the visual learning. So we see the stars, we see there are different phenomena. For example, we can take pictures about the moon. We can uh, keep records or recording the changes of some astronomical objects by astrophotography, or we're trying out some aurora hunting. So it's really uh, it will be more focusing on our visual experience about the night sky. So the second one would be read and write. Some of our target audience might be really good at literal understanding. So they're really good at reading some papers, understanding some faces, or they're really engaged in reading books or some related reference books about astrophysics or cosmology. So it's very important to how could we provide some opportunities to gather them, to get reach to them. For example, we tried out some citizen science projects or some social innovation projects to be participant oriented. So it's to be participants oriented. So we allowed our enthusiasts or amateur astronomers to engage together to launch some campaigns about science communication or some promotion about light sky protections or to raise more people awareness on popular science in their daily life. So we tried out some online platforms, for example, Steam, uh, to have some hands-on experience or using some data analysis through remote analysis. For example, there are some different remote observatories or telescopes to conduct some research about studying galaxies or some deep sky objects or some planets or some astronomical objects. So we can also try out some translations about different materials because they are different. They're always different good materials from different countries or places. So it's really important if we could have some people together and we can translate some useful materials by some local. So there are different local societies and some organization. They're always publishing something really great, but due to the language barrier, you might not be able to spell out or share to be sure with people, as we always talk about astronomy for all, for different people, for without any borders. So it's really great if there are more translations of local reading materials in different language, and we could reach to more people that with the common interest about the night sky or astronomy. So auditory learning, so it's all about sounds and some different medium about astronomy. So besides traditionally by posters or by some public lectures or by some uh, visual observation, so there are more different medium or different opportunities that we could share our experience or we could conduct some science communications by different mediums. So for example, integrating science and arts, astro music, space arts. So many people are really interested about astro music. Actually, it's actually a new experience to allow people, if they are really like to listen to music, or they could be focusing on sensing science. They could be able to have a new feeling or a new experience inspired by astronomy. For example, they could listen to some sounds of the planets in our solar system collected by the NASA or some NASA ESA or some space missions data. So it's actually regenerating from the data collected by the frequency, the data with frequency collected by some space mission, and it will be changing, and due to some data analysis, it could be reformed in a new phases into some music or some sonnets. So it allow people to have a new experience to experience science. So it's a great, really great chances for people. So to followed by some kinesthetic learning. So it's all about some hands-on experience. Because traditionally, if we only read books, is not really enough for really experiencing astronomy. For example, we could make use of some telescope experience. For example, we're setting up telescope. It will be really practical, allowing us to really know how to operate or really engaging in an experience about observational astronomy. Besides that, there are some DIY workshops or some paper model prototyping to allow us to really engage in learning astronomy, because traditionally it might not, some people with special education needs, they might not be really able to focus on only readings or some paperworks or some they are always looking for to be keeping them busy. So it's really important if we could providing experience with different sensitive engagement. So it's really important, really encouraging. So yeah, but last but not least, it's all about building relationships. So it's really important to build up trust with our surfing target audience, or with our students, or with our uh, younger generation in the general public. So always provide guidance and to arouse their curiosity and interest about science and astronomy. So when you're looking at the night sky, so it's really great to allow you to escape, to calm down, to relax. So there are different examples. For example, stargazing mindfulness, or some stargazing experience, or some uh, great chances to allow you to have a self-talk, to have a peer evaluations under night sky. It's really great chances that to allow our target audience with special education needs to have a chances to interact with you in a relatively quiet environment without any pleasures, without anything that irritate them or uh, to uh, to disturb their attention. They only have to listen to their hearts. They only have to focusing on the night sky. So thank you, astronomy, to allow us to have a chance to overcome our fear, to get out of the comfort zone, to build up confidence. So it's really encouraging. So this is my sharing, and please feel free to email me. I'm really looking forward if we have if in the future that we could have some new uh, cooperation, or we have some on science communication or public outreach or promoting popular science. And yeah, I'm really wish to explore more. For example, in recently we always considering about some sustainability issues about night sky, about the dark sky protections, and I think it will be a really great chances to have some interactions through online without borders, and we could make use of the online medium or some online platforms to have some interactions and sharing sections. And I think it's a really precious opportunity for us to have some interactions and some discussions. So I'm really looking forward if in the future that we could have more and more opportunity for some discussions about SEN education or interdisciplinary science. Thank you, everyone.